So you want to be a motovlogger, huh? Well, let's talk about it. I'm going to break this video into a few parts. And the first thing is planning. How are you going to motovlog? And this is the first step because it kind of determines what you need to do for these next steps that I'm going to go over. Because if you're just trying to, record yourself and maybe use this as a dash cam for your safety, you may not need the best mic in the world, or you may not even use a mic at all. So it's just something to think about going forward. What are you going to do with your camera, with your bike, and so on? So the first thing is the bike. You need a bike to motovlog. Who would have thought? But this is something to think about in the planning stage because some bikes give you more wind noise, for example, in your helmet. If you don't have a windscreen right here, you're going to get more wind noise, and that's something you got to think about. Or are you going to have a dirt bike, and are you going to go off-roading and stuff? Because if that's the case, you're probably going to need some more protective gear for your equipment. I mainly just bring up what bike are you going to be using because it's very important in the planning stage. Boop. Big old bump there. Oh yeah, fist bump. Yeah, bro. Ugh. And how is your equipment gonna handle higher speeds on heavier wind days like today? I don't have the best stuff in the world, so this might be kind of shaky audio. We'll see. But if I tuck behind the windscreen, it's probably a little better. Alright, so the second thing, other than a bike, you need is a helmet. You want a relatively quiet helmet. This is actually a poor example. This has a lot of airflow and it's kind of loud in here, not gonna lie. So it's not the ideal helmet, but I like it, so shut up. But you'll want to think about this stuff when picking a helmet. If you need quiet and professional audio, you're gonna want to find a quieter helmet. You're also gonna want a helmet that is better suited for a microphone and adapters to put your GoPro. This helmet, not the best at that. This has a full face screen and it's very hard to mount a GoPro, and the mic is right behind the wind vent for the mouth, so it can get really windy if I don't shut the vent. It's not a great helmet for motovlogging, not gonna lie, but a helmet is really something you're gonna want to think about. And again, if you don't need audio, it really doesn't matter what type of helmet you get as long as you can throw a GoPro on there. You'll also notice up here I have another section where I can mount a GoPro on the side. I don't put my GoPro there anymore since I had an issue where it flew off a long time ago. So yeah, I don't keep GoPros on the side of my helmet anymore. The wind resistance knocks it around, and like I said, it flew off one time. Just not something I personally want to deal with. If you do a lot of low speed stuff, it really doesn't matter. So the next thing, and probably the most important for most people here, is the camera. What camera are you going to use? There's quite a few big players actually now. It used to be GoPro was the only one. And now, honestly, I'm a big fan of GoPro and what they've done, but I don't know if it's the best option anymore. At least as far as motovlogging goes. The Hero 13 with its new HDR features might be pretty cool. And Bluetooth audio is helpful if you're okay with sacrificing a little bit of audio quality. I know they've had some issues with quality not being as good as wired straight in. What's up, dude? But if you want an actual physical mic adapter, Insta360 and DJI have much smaller, simpler options. Because this thing right here is big and bulky for no reason. I'm really confused as to why GoPro... I don't know what's going on there. I don't know why GoPro made their mic adapter as big and bulky as their actual camera. Meanwhile, DJI and Insta360 have tiny little things you plug into the side, and that's it. Honestly, I don't know why it's not built in. That should be a standard feature by now. But I digress. Fix it, GoPro! So yeah, for you need to check the specs and features of the different cameras and see what you want out of it. Because what works best for me might not work best for you. For example, I don't even shoot in the full quality of this GoPro Hero 10. Or this Hero 5 for that matter. The few, the proud, the wambulance. Boop. The car can have a little love tap as a treat. Which leads me to my next point, a microphone. Now I'm going to put all the stuff I use personally and some recommendations in the description. I'll have links, so if you want to check that out, go check it out. But you're going to want a microphone that works with your camera. So if you're doing Bluetooth, you're going to need a newer camera that has Bluetooth, and you're going to want to figure that out with your helmet. Personally, I'm not a fan of Bluetooth for mics just because that's yet another thing I have to add to the helmet and then remember to take it off, charge it. It's probably got to be something that's removable. It's got to be something that's secure enough that I'm not going to have fall off the helmet. It's just a little more than I want, and I have this setup that was put in before Bluetooth was around for these cameras, and it works fine. I will continue to complain about the mic adapter, but it is what it is. What's a hippie's wife called? Mrs. Hippie. So yeah, just something to think about for motovlogging. Alright, now let's talk about the very last thing on this list, which is editing. And I'm going to start the bike back up, and we'll continue that on. Hopefully nothing bad happens when I press this button. So editing is kind of up to you. Personally, I like to use DaVinci Resolve. It's a free one, and it's a pretty powerful one. It is a little bit more of a learning curve to edit on, I will say. But if you got to start somewhere, you might as well start there. It's better than learning a simple program and then jumping to it and realizing you don't know how anything works anymore, and I don't know, it can be a little more frustrating that way. But there's also like Adobe Premiere and stuff like that. You just got to find an editing program that works for you. And it also does depend on how much editing you plan on doing. If you're just trying to make like a dash cam out of this and you just want to throw clips together, you really don't need anything powerful. You just gotta cut your clips and upload them. That's really about it. But if you want to add other things and sync cameras, for example, and play 2 clips at once side by side, you're going to need something a little more, and you're just going to find what matches what you're doing. Speaking of, a pro tip for syncing cameras, when I start my videos, I do a sync clap so that I can match the audio and video on both cameras at the same time. Think this cop wants to race? So that kind of brings me to my last point, which is just extras. What all do you really need? Are you going to need every GoPro accessory package that they sell? Probably not. Are you going to need 3 cameras right here? Probably not. I'm not even running this other GoPro, by the way. It was just in case. Also, while it's here, I should use it as an example. This is another way you can get a POV. I've done that on a lot of my videos, actually. I just started switching to this Insta360 X4 because it's more fun to edit on and it's cooler and I can do other stuff with it. But yeah, that's really it. Motovlogging is just very specific to the individual, and there's 100 ways to do it. There's a bunch of different cameras and mics and editing programs and bikes and helmets, so you can mix and match to your heart's desire and find what works for you. Well, this just got worse since I left. Can't park there. But the main thing, and I'll reiterate this, is to have a plan. If you don't know what you're doing, it's not going to come together well at all. If you just go buy a random bike, helmet, camera, and mic, you're not going to have a good time trying to make motovlogs. And if anyone cares about this video and wants to learn more about more in-depth settings, I can make a more advanced video and show you like the in-depth everything. I mean, I can show you how my helmet is set up, all the GoPro settings you need to make cinematic video, which I don't do, by the way. I actually am a photographer and videographer. I could go ham on this thing if I want to, but that would take away some of the enjoyment for me because I just like the simplicity of this. I know you're looking at 3 cameras and you're thinking it's not really simple, but with how I have everything set up, it is very simple. I have a process down, everything's quick and easy. There's nothing really that complex about this. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, am I right, boys? But yeah, that's it. My biggest tip is to have fun and enjoy it. If you're serious about motovlogging and it's something you want to do, you have to enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, I don't know why you'd be doing it anyway, but you know, there are people that think they need to do it for money or something, I don't know. I promise you there's not a lot of money in this. But yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Why are there so many bumps in the road? Oh, no, oh. Alright, peace out, Girl Scouts. I love y'all. I'll catch y'all next time. Always remember, the front left eye on the stove is the best eye on the stove. That's not up for debate. Fight me.